Journaling with Intention with me, Amy Hill. It's so nice to have you here today. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes for everybody to pop on. So thank you so much. This is week 9. Can you believe it? We're at week 9 and I'm so excited. So thank you if you've been here with me going along this journey of journaling and kind of taking your week and rethinking your focus and focusing on something for you, whether it is to help you to meditate or clear your mind or just kind of keep focus with the things that you want to accomplish about how you want to build your life. And this has been really helpful for me personally. It's been great to have this community, but it also is great to have something that I can look back on and reflect, and things where I can see goals that I want and goals that I've achieved and then moving forward those. So hi, Tina, how are you doing? It's so nice that you're here today. How was your week, Tina? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. My week was pretty good. I got a lot of things accomplished, and it's nice to, again, have all of that in a book. I actually shared my book with my partner, and he was like, wow, this is really great. It's nice that you have this community and you have so many people here. This is great. So thank you guys for being here. And I can't believe we're at week 9. Yes, Anne, congratulations, week 9. And good morning, Alicia. So it is so great. So I'm so glad that you're here. I have today is what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to set up my week. And I realized I've done a lot of things, or we've done a lot of things in here, and I haven't totally, finished them. So I want to go back to some of the things that we've done and take a little bit of time to talk about those and how we're actually going to fill them in. So I'm going to start out with kind of a recap of what we've done for the 9 weeks. And if you're new here, thank you so much for being here. It's so nice. And I'm glad that you're here. So hi, Saskia. And hi, Tracy. And it is so great, again, for you guys to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn down to my mat, and we are going to get started. So get your journals ready, get your pens ready, and let us get started. All right. All right, so here's my journal, and you can see my little pen cup. And now I've just started putting my ruler inside of my pen cup just to make sure that I don't lose that at all. And I would love to know, do you guys have a favorite set of pens in this journey? Have you decided like which pens and things like that you like? I'm using, again, these Papermate Flare pens, and I'll have those linked below. But I really do love these. I love all the colors, and I've been color coding with them. And then last week I showed you the zebra pens, which I have to go up and grab. I forgot to grab those. And those are nice too, because I have a set that has highlighters and also pens that coordinate, which is kind of cool. So I'm just going to do a little recap of, again, it's 9 weeks that we've been here setting down our intentions every week. And I'd love to know, how is it going for you? So if you have favorite pens, let me know. And how is it going for you now that we've been here for 9 weeks? So this is my journal. I have a dotted journal. And I talked about why I like the dot journals, because they really help me with guiding things, but it doesn't look like it's all those lines. So I like that, because it looks like a blank page, but it's not really a blank page. And we just started here focusing for the year. So this is something I can always come back to and say, what is it that I wanted to do for this year? What was my focus? And then we did our January layout. And these are our weekly layouts right into February. And then our weekly layouts. And we had that kind of stay grounded page. And I did end up filling this out, and that was great. And then we made a gratitude page. And this is not something I finished. So I actually want to go back here today and talk about those gratitude pages. I'm going to finish coloring in these bubbles. And then we talked about, these are all my March pages and all my tracking pages. And we made the list of lists page. And of course we have our bookmark, which I finished coloring for last time. So I'm going to set up my next week. And I wanted to do something a little bit different, because most of the time when I have my weeks, I only use this part to just track dinners, and I use it to track bedtimes. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to track meals. There's an adage about let food be thy medicine. And so if you're not feeling well, sometimes what I do is I look first at my diet. I look first at the things that I'm eating, And is there anything that I can switch in my diet in order to help me to feel better? That's usually where I go first is my diet. So I wanted to start there. So I'm going to quickly put this together, and I'm going to use my trusty ruler and also my color swatches page. And I think I forgot to grab my washi tape. So I'm just going to use some pens in order to kind of decorate this up. So we'll do this up a little bit differently today. All right, so I'm going to grab this color swatches stencil. This is from Altenew, really fabulous because it has all these boxes that are very different, and you can use them in whatever way it is that you would like to. And I'm going to use them to make a little border here today. So I'm going to start with our date. So I can't believe that March is almost over. How is your March going? How is that March happening? So this next week coming up is March 20th to the 26th. And it looks like our next Sunday, which will be week 10, we're going to be planning out our April. And I've been using a lot of green this month. So let me know, is there like a different color scheme we should use for April? When you think of April, what is that color scheme that you kind of think of? All right, I think I want to go orange again today. All right, I'm going to flip it over to orange. All right, so we are March 20th to the 26th. That is, I can't believe we're already through March. It's great. Yeah, pastels. Yeah, Alicia, I think so too. It needs to be kind of bright, right? Something else going on. All right, I'm going to grab this, and I'm actually going to use this as my border. I usually use the washi tape, but this is all I have right now. And I do have my colored pencils. I grabbed my trusty colored pencils and put those right next to me. But what's neat is you can even just use this stencil and just create a really quick little border. Just something kind of neat. You know, color is great. This would be cute as a rainbow. I just didn't want to grab all the colors. All right, so there is our little border. Oh, that's nice, Anne. We could do that. Yeah, you're right. Like start out blue and then come in with some different colors. That would be nice. I like those, Tracy. Purple, green, yellow, and pink. Those might be neat because we could have them, you know, be that way for each week. You know what I mean? Like we could do for each week. Purple, green, yellow for April. All right. Those all sound really good. All right. I'm going to grab just a colored pencil. And I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to color these in. And I'm just picking, this is Volcano Lake, which is kind of a green blue. And I'm just quickly coloring these in. Just to give it a little bit of color. You can do stamps, you can draw little images. That's what I mean. Like this stencil is very, very versatile with all the things you can do with it. Really like that. I'm just trying to differentiate this from when I use it for the rest of this. So, all right, pastels it is. Okay, I will have to make sure we use those. All right, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently because I want to make sure I'm tracking a lot of information for each day of this week. I'm actually going to go horizontal here. And I want to make sure it's in 7 sections. And when I have something like this, although I am in America and grew up using inches, I find centimeters to be better. So you are welcome, Saskia, that I'm about to mention everything in centimeters and not in inches because I don't do fractions. All right. So you can see I'm about 15 here and I got 7 days that I want to do, but my book stretches down to, let's see. That's about, let's say two more. So that goes 15, 16, 17. So this goes to 17 centimeters. All right. So if I have 2, so if I do 14, that's 2 centimeters a piece. That's actually not bad. It gives me some space. All right. So I'm going to measure down 14 centimeters. And you're welcome, Saskia. I am not translating that over to inches. You can all do what you want to do on that one. All right, so I'm going to start just down here because I want to make sure I have a little bit of space up above, and I'm just going to draw a line. Let's go right to here. That's 14 centimeters down. Okay. And what I'm doing from here is I'm going to separate these out into 2 centimeter bundles. And these are going to be each of my days. So here's one day. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, beautiful. And then I'm just going to really lightly draw these across because I'm actually going to use my pens to make it a little bit more colorful in all of my things. So this is just kind of my rough sketching, which is why I'm using a pencil. So I'm just going to move this across. And I'm just making sure that my ruler is straight because a lot of times I don't use a straight ruler. There we go. 1. And I'm doing that by looking at the little dots and just making sure that I'm the right distance off of those dots. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And are you changing up your layout? Is there something that you want to change today? Because that's why I'm doing it a little bit differently. Normally I have smaller boxes because I don't need to record a lot. But this week I want to record a little bit more. So I'm using these full boxes. All right, and 7. Okay, so now I have this lined grid. And obviously off the top, just because it looks a little weird, I'm just going to draw a line right at the top. There we go. Yep, there we go. All right. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the date, but I'm going to actually use my stencil to put that little date in because I just want to make it a little bit more, I don't know, fancy-ish, I guess. And I'm going to go with the light orange. All right, here we go. And I'm just going to take the most narrow box, which I think is this one down here. And I'm just putting it right in the middle. And I'm just going to put that right in here. So that's going to have my date. And I can take that and just drag it right down, trying to keep that as close on the edges as possible, just so it looks relatively close-ish for aesthetics lining up. That's all I'm doing. So again, I'm using those pencil lines as a guide. And I can come back in with my pens. I can come back in with markers, colored pencils, in order to give this section a little bit more color. I'm going to just start here, just outlining each of these. All right, here we go. And let me know if you are changing up your layout this week. Feel a little need for a change. There we go. All right, so now I have all of those in there. And now what I'm going to do is just add those dates. So this one is Monday. So this is 3/20. I have Tuesday, 3/21. Wednesday, 3/22. Thursday, 3/23. Friday, Amy. Friday, 3/24. Saturday, 25. And Sunday, 3/26. Now, I have a little spot down in the bottom, And so I can still use this for what I like to do, which is that looking forward to look back. And so I'm going to just grab my, let's see, do I want to use the whole thing? Yeah, I will. All right, so this one I'm just going to put right out here. I'm just going to add my title, looking forward, looking backward, looking forward. I'll just keep it looking forward because I forgot to put the rest of it. Oh, well. Hey, Helen, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Helen, can you believe we're on week 9? Isn't that crazy? So thank you again for joining me on this little journey of journaling. I really appreciate it. All right, so I'm just going to come in and I just want to add a little bit of color. So I'm just going to grab a pen and just redraw or just go right over the lines I had. I'm not going to erase these. These pens will add in that color. And since I don't have any need to measure anything, this part goes relatively quickly. So I'm just going to come in and redo that color. Just add a little bit of color. If you have a highlighter, this is a great thing for a highlighter because you can just highlight right over there. I didn't grab my highlighters. And here. And again, just adding a little bit of color for this. I'm going to keep my other page the same. But again, I just wanted this to be a little bit different. And what I'm doing here is just recording food. Because like I said, I'm getting better, but I'm like still feel a little low energy. So sometimes I start with my food and I look at that because that affects my mood. That affects my mood. It's also good if you're looking for like a food map diet, like an elimination diet. If you feel like something is, might be bothering your digestive system, this is another great thing is you can kind of track what those things are that you eat. I don't eat at specific meal times because my job is a little crazy. So I'm on a catcher's catch can. So I bring food and snacks with me to work and then I eat when I can. Some days I don't get an opportunity. But at least I have the food with me. So sometimes I eat lunch at 4:00 in the afternoon, or eat breakfast at 4:00 in the afternoon. It just kind of depends on what happens for my day. So if I was somebody who ate regular meal times, I would divide this down, but I don't. And so what I'm doing instead is just going to fill this in. So like for instance, today I'm going to grab this brown. I had a bagel. Had a bagel. So I'm going to put that down. And then I also had, I had curry last night. Helen, I had curry last night. It was good. I had curry leftovers. And then I'll put in what I had for dinner, etc. And that just gives me kind of a what the heck I had, just so I can kind of keep track of all of those things. And then I have my section down here of looking forward. I'm going to just give this a little frame just to kind of make that stand out a little bit. So that's my one page of that one. So I hope, let me know if you end up changing it or if you are someone who's also tracking food. I'd love to know. I know, right, Helen? I had a good curry. It was really good. Really, really delicious. So, all right. So now I'm going to work on this side. And this I'm going to keep the same that I've been doing. But I don't have that washi tape because I forgot to grab it today. So I'm going to start by just mapping this off. So this is almost 14. So I'm going to go to... That's 14, so that's 8. So about here. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put this off. Helen, we were talking about the fact that I use centimeters today instead of inches. Because I do better in centimeters. Even though I'm American. All right, so I just kind of cross that off just to kind of give this and put it down the midline. And I've been doing the same thing where I'm using my P-Touch label maker. And this is nice because you can use washi goes in this. They have ribbon. They also have these colored tapes that you can get. And so I picked up a whole bunch. I have them listed in the descriptions in the video, or I have those after we're done here. I'll make sure that they are linked to my Amazon store so you can check them out. And so just cutting this off. And I'm just going to put this in. And I just like this because it's kind of like a second title on this page. So I'm going to add this in again. So this is my habit tracker. And I like the fact, I think I have this down to about 30 minutes. So it takes me about 30 minutes to set up these 2 pages, but I'm in it all the time. So it's something that I'm looking at throughout the week. And I think those 30 minutes, I think I'm okay with doing those 30 minutes. All right, so now that I have my little habit tracker, I'm going to go ahead and just make my graphs. And I'm still tracking my water. Oh, and I have a huge milestone. I did 15 minutes on the treadmill this week, or sorry, in the elliptical machine. I asked my physical therapist if we could do that, and he's like, sure. He's like, okay, you got a goal? Let's meet that. So I did it. Really excited. That's a huge milestone for me, is that I did 15 minutes on the elliptical machine. So I'm going to make sure I put that in. And so this week, I want to keep that 15 minutes, and I'm going to try different exercises. So the bike or walking, something now that I know I can do the 15 minutes, and I don't injure myself, which is huge. Yeah, that one's, it's a bit pricey, Helen. You got to wait for that one. Yes, thank you guys. Yes, it was huge. It was really, really big. That one was pretty awesome, I have to say. Really excited about it. All right, so I'm just going to add in, this is my little water section, and I'm going to add in my exercise little section over here. So here's my water tracker, and this is day, and this is ounces. So my 80 ounces goes right here. And again, the way we do this is from here to here is 0. So 0 to 80. So half of that is what we're looking at. And then that's going to be half of that number, which is about 40. And that's way you can really make this really, really quick. And then we just put the days of the weeks down here, the days of the week down here. And then you're just literally putting a little boop in for each of those days. It makes it really, really easy to track your progress. And so you can see visually right away how it's working for you. So what the heck is going on and what's working for you. So this is exercise. And again, we have minutes on this side. So 15 minutes. So from here to here, and then half of that is 7.5 minutes. And then I just put those days in. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So pretty awesome. And you have stairs? I can do it daily. I'm up to daily. That's what I'm trying to get to, though. So it was a pretty big milestone that I made it, I have to say, to 15 minutes. They definitely want me moving. And I walk a lot more. So my steps are up to, I do regularly 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day without batting an eyelash. And but yeah, that's what it is. It's just, but can my body actually tolerate 15 minutes? When I started, it was a no. I was lucky to get 2.5 minutes, I think. So battling up to the 15 minutes has been really great. I remember when I got to 5 minutes, I was really excited. That was exciting. I did a little Rocky dance around my neighborhood. So getting up to 15 is pretty huge. And I can walk now, which is also a huge accomplishment. All right, so all I'm doing is just making my little mood tracker, and this is going to help. So since I'm looking at my food and I'm looking at mood, that's really super great because I can then match this and say, maybe I shouldn't be eating those. I'm going to take those out and see how I feel the next day. And that's what you want to do if you are looking at food, and tracking it with your mood. So this is really helpful if you feel like maybe I have a sensitivity or I have some sort of issue that when I eat something, I just don't feel super great. It's always a nice thing to track that stuff. I also track this with like, do I have meetings or deadlines or things coming up? And then I can kind of figure out how I work and other things that I do. All right. And then I just keep this as an extra little tracker. I want to add in little photos. I'm going to start bringing those in probably in a couple of weeks just to I really love photography. It's something that I really enjoy, but it's definitely a skill that I need to get better at. And so I want to just kind of like take images of things that are around my world that I experience on a day-to-day basis and then add them into my tracker. Like just put them into my weekly things. Like, hey, this is what I saw this week. So I'm probably going to pull this and add my little photo of the week there. And it just gives me an excuse to practice photography. So, all right. So this is my week. So I'm going to put my little mood tracker here. Definitely not going to do it in that color. Pick this one. Mood tracker. All right. So that's my week. It is set up and I am ready to go, which is awesome. So my handy little stencil, I'm going to go ahead and put back that one. So how did you do? That's about 30 minutes, just under. Actually, it's probably about 25. And how did you all do? Did you get yours set up? Are you looking forward to your week? Is there anything you're adding in? Is there something that you accomplished? Something that you accomplished like I did with my 15 minutes of walking? Or sorry, on the elliptical? Is there something that you accomplished that you're excited about? Let me know. All right, so I'm going to head back to I actually wanted to work on my lists of lists. And this is something that I kind of started to plan out last week, and I ended up not having a super amount of time. So I wanted to go back to this page. And this is a page that we stamped using a foliage stamp just to give it a really nice, kind of very soft background, but just something a little bit more interesting than just the dots. And also it wouldn't be distracting. So when I wrote on top of it, it really wouldn't be a big deal for it. So one of the things that I wanted to list on here and track, so you can see I started putting like, these are the trails. These are things that where I want to go. So I have this whole list and I'm going to keep doing that. And I used my zebra pens, which are a little bit finer tip. And I also used, they come with highlighters, matching highlighters. So I want to go and grab those for just 1 second. So before I go into the list of lists, let me know in the chat right now, what are things that you want to be reminded of? This might be like things that you want to learn. Like, do you always want to learn how to crochet? Like crafts you want to learn? Is it specific techniques in card making you want to learn? So let me know in the chat right now what you would want to put on your list of lists. All right, so I just went and grabbed my little journaling set. So this is from Zebra. So these have matching highlighters and pens, and I have the dark blue one hiding somewhere. It is somewhere. And I just like these because I like things that coordinate and match. So that's why I like using these, but I grabbed these on purpose. So one of the things that I wanted to list out is I take a lot of like dietary supplements, and I always forget what I take. And so when I'm at the drugstore and I'm like, oh, I need to pick up blanket of blank, and I forget what to grab. So that's something that I wanted to list on here. And then another thing that I wanted to list, let me write these down because I'm going to forget them. So supplements. And then the other thing that I wanted to list were like techniques that I want to try. like crafting techniques. And even techniques that I know, I kind of want to make like a little technique list. So yeah, right, Tina? Um, and so that's great, Alicia. You want to learn Dutch. And Tina, learn more fun folds with cards. Yeah, those are things. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what are techniques? And then crafts, like crafts things, because I really want to learn how to crochet. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I've sewed. I'm a terrible sewer, but I can do it. At least if it's a straight line. If it's like putting a sleeve on, not so much. But I can sew like a pillowcase or something like that. That's easy. Curtains, I've made curtains. I think those are the things that I want to do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use this as I think I'm going to use this one as my supplements list. And then I'm going to come over here with some crafty techniques and I'll put those in. So just think about your list of lists. And I like the list of lists because sometimes my head gets filled with a lot of things. And so by putting it down on a list, it's something I can refer to, but it almost kind of helps to organize. I think of the brain as like having file folders. And so I want to kind of organize. It's almost like it's putting those file folders into a filing cabinet. That's the way I kind of think about it. All right, so we got Tracy's on Duolingo. I know, Tracy, I need to know if that's actually working for you, though. How are you feeling? If you're feeling like you are fluent in those and making flowers with alcohol ink. Yeah, I know, Alicia. There's an amazing artist I follow on Instagram, and she is amazing with alcohol ink and actually using that to create images with. I'm really impressed with what she does. All right, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to use this color. I like this teal. I want something darker. All right, I'm actually going to go over to my flare pens. And I'm going to grab the gray. All right, so I'm going to start my list of lists with supplements that I take. All right, so I have AM. These aren't that many in the AM. That's just good. And then I'll have PM here. So I take vitamin D. And what's nice about these is it's always good to have like a list and then maybe an explanation of why you take it or what it's good for. All right, now I'm going to use my highlighter. And I'm just going to do a little dashed line within the highlighter, just so you can really see it. And now I'm going to add my PM. If I can do that in dark blue. And this is nice again because you can kind of see. So, oh, that's fabulous. Used it all over Spain, France, Italy, and Portugal. That is great. You know, Saskia, I was thinking about that. The kids are starting soccer, so I'm going to have more time for like crafting in my car. So my watercoloring will come back out again. And I have to say, Tracy, I have a great story about that. I was in Sicily. I was in Sicily, and we pulled over for like a lunch, and I had to pay the bill. And I'm in Sicily. I know no Italian. So the shopkeeper went to me and said, German? And I said, oh, no. And he's like, Italian? No. English? No. And he went, German? I said, no. And I said to him, French? And he's like, yes. So I paid my bill in Italy using my high school French. That's what I did as I moved around. And I have to say, Saskia, I did not make it over to the Netherlands or even over to Germany. I've been to France, but not further east than that, except at least within Europe, I have to say. Been to Greece, though, but I know that that's not in the right place over there. All right. So I'm just going to add a couple of these, and then I got to look at my full list downstairs because I take a lot of supplements. And then some of them I don't know how to spell. That's the other hard part. I don't know how to spell all of them. I think those, oh yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and then I will go and I'm going to come on over onto this side, and I will finish that list. So, and these are my supplements. I'll put that title at the bottom. Okay. So now these over here, I wanted to do some crafty techniques. So I'm going to start with this color. And I always find that when I start like making a card, I have sometimes I'm not sure what I want to do. So this is a nice list to have that I can come over to this list and be like, all right, I wonder what I want to work on today. And you could even kind of make this like a free writing list and then organize them like, okay, painting. And then you can kind of organize them along. I'm just going to go ahead and write them down. And Saskia, you betcha I'm going to be heading over there. And I want you to go ahead and do a bike ride with me. And I cannot pronounce the name of that park. But yes, as long as you make sure that you protect me from any wolves that are in the park, which I would appreciate greatly. All right, I want to do this in this purple. Okay, so we're going to do coloring techniques first. And I can actually even grab, to make this a little bit cleaner, I can even go ahead and grab my stencil, and I'm just going to use this. I'm just going to outline it with my pencil here, just to kind of keep them all contained. So watercoloring. And specifically no line. I love the look. I'm not the best at it. It's something I want to work on. And then of course, pencil. And marker. In my watercoloring, I actually want to learn how to do just free form, like actual watercoloring. And I'm going to do alcohol inks. And I can grab my highlighter, and I'm just going to come around and just go right over that pencil line. And these are nice because they are very translucent, but they're soft. They're not really, really super harsh for all of these. So it looks kind of pretty. And I'm going to come around actually with the darker version. There's also this bullet tip it has. So I'm making that inside lighter, and I'm just going right around the outside a little bit darker. Get that in there. All right, pencil. Yes, fun crafty fold. I'm thinking geometric cards. I don't make those a lot. That's a technique. Masking. Fancy folds. That could be one, entirely as fancy folds. Clean and simple. And mixed media. Oh. So those are just some things. Oh yeah, she does, Tina. Her dearest coloring is amazing. It's really, really beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to come here again, just to give this a little edge to it, just to make it look a little bit prettier. Because that's what we're doing in this journal. This is just going right around the outside, so it just gives it a little edge. There we go. Oh, that's great, Helen, to learn Welsh. Helen, did you have that in school, though, when you were younger? Did you have Welsh lessons? Like, I thought everybody had to learn Welsh in school if you're in Wales. So that's kind of crafty techniques. I might add this in. These next one I want to do is new. I'm going to put it down here. Is new/improving other crafts. That's what I want to do here. All right, so this one, photography. And that's really honestly just getting out there and just shooting and just taking pictures, coming back and taking a look at them and see what you got. But I really like photography because I like to put it with my trail walking. So I like to take nature photography. But I really do want to take a class on photography. Crocheting. That's a big one. Crocheting. Don't know how to do it. I flub it all over the place. I tried, took classes, still can't do it. And then another one that I wanted to do, watercoloring. Not card coloring in, but actual watercoloring. So I'm excited about, I ordered the gouache paints from Altenew, so they have to now. Oh, okay. Well, I think that's good that they have to learn it. That's a good thing. And then photography, crocheting, and watercoloring and sewing. I want to teach my daughter how to sew because I feel like that's a life skill. Sewing is a life skill. And I need to make some curtains for my bedroom. So I think I'm just going to sew them and make them by hand. So that was something that I wanted to do. So I like this list of lists because, again, it just gives you an opportunity to get some ideas down. And I can come in and I am just going to highlight some of these. So I'm just going to come along and highlight just to give it some little bit of extra color on those pages. And then I'll continue my list of lists. All right. And I wanted to get over to my other page here, which was the gratitude page. So we had made this quite a while ago, and I just wanted to add some stuff in to this page. And I also only colored in one of the bubbles. So I wanted to color in some of those other bubbles too, which is why I grabbed my woodless coloring pencil. So I will bring those out, and we're just going to color one more bubble, and we're going to write in a different bubble. All right, so these are my coloring pencils. And then when you do bubbles, you want to kind of pick rainbow. That's really what you're looking for, is like soft pastel rainbow colors. And so I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab an orange, pink, and where's dewdrops? Dewdrops. We need a greenish. Need blue. No, purple. Blue. And I need yellow. All right, so I know I don't have green there, but I'm gonna do green a little bit. I'll grab a green. I'm gonna grab this green. So here's all my rainbow. And you can do this soft, you can do it light. And again, the nice thing about coloring pencils is it's not necessarily the pigment, it's also how much you're putting down the pigment. And what I did with this is when I first did this with everybody. We used the rainbow stencil and we used ink blending. And remember that we created our own color out here using these two colors. So we made our own color on the end. And then I created these 4 bubbles. I intended to write in these bubbles, and then I just added some smaller bubbles just to fill up the page. And then I just stamped these little birds so it would look kind of like a, like a sky. And I appreciate that, Tina. These, I kind of like how they look, and I'm like, oh, I have never gone back and done them, and I think it's time for me to do that. So what I start first with the bubble is I literally just go around and I'm just going to color this all in. And this is Dewdrops. This is a very light blue-green, I guess, teal. It's very, very light. So you can't even see this. I bet you in the studio audience there, you can't even see it. It is really, 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 really super light. And then you want to kind of decide like, all right, we're pretty much going to be coloring in a rainbow. And so where in my rainbow am I going to have, where am I going to start the rainbow? In essence of like, where's my purple and everything. And so then you just start making arcs. You want to try to keep the middle of the bubble not to have any color or to have that really light blue teal, this one, because that's going to make it look like water. And so now we're just going to go on the edges. And I'm not super awesome at bubbles, but I kind of try my best. So I'm just going to make it very small, should say very thin around this edge. This is my purple, so I'm starting with my darkest color. And then I'm just going to make it a little bit wider. So I'm going to make these lines a little bit wider coming here around this edge. And then after this, it's kind of all about blending. And this is going to give us that curvature to say, oh, this actually looks like a circle. And then I'm going to go back to thin again. So I'm just going to go back to thin. So I have a region where it's thick and then a region where it's thin. And if you want to, you can stretch this up to the top. So I'm going to come up here and go a little bit thicker and then back into thin. And I'm just going to stretch that around. You don't have to make them connect. But, so you can see a region that's thicker and a region where it's thinner. Now I'm going to come in with my blue because that's my next color. And I want to leave that purple. So I'm going to go right over the top of that purple, leaving a little section of purple. And I'm just going to blend that through. So I'm not going right to the edge of the bubble, except where it's thin. And I'm going to come up and do the same thing here. So I just need a little bit more blue. So you can see I'm going right up to the edge of where I laid that purple down. And now I'm going to come in with my green. And from here, I feel like it's all kind of feel of how it should look and how it should be. So I'm either adding in a thick amount or I'm adding in thin. And I'm trying to stay with that original curve that I had with the purple. There we go. All right, now I'm going to come in with the yellow. And where I put that yellow down over the blue, it should give a little bit of a hint of green. So it's going to thicken that green out. And this is kind of fun because you can play with it. It's a bubble. There's no right or wrong way to do bubbles. I'm just really trying to make sure that I preserve for it to look spherical. That's really what I'm doing. So I'm coming in here a little bit more just to give it a little bit more of a roundedness. All right, now I'm going to come in with my orange. Just come right up and around. All right, and then here's my pink. And my pink is the end color. I can come over this and I might add a little bit of purple just to kind of calm down. This is getting a little bright because that yellow was kind of bright. So I'm just going right over this and just adding this in. And I think I like it with a little bit more of the purple and blue. So I'm going to come in with my purple and just kind of tone these down and darken that purple edge. And again, bubbles are kind of cool. They can be what you want them to be, which I really like about it. And you don't have to add all these colors. If you want to stick with one color over another, you can do that too. All right, so I'm just adding a little bit more blue. Since there's a lot of yellow in there, it's turning to green, which is cool. All right, so I like that. So I'm going to take these two and I'm just going to put some lists in. And these are things that, you know, are gratitude, right? This is about gratitude. So I wanted to think about one that is a big one, which is being out in nature. So I'm going to put that over here. And I like to take hikes. So I really appreciate walking trails. And I like to use my my photography gear, or just a place where I can go and talk with friends. It's really nice to have that, but to be out and to see flowers and to, I'm just kind of grateful for there just to be nature and to have an opportunity to be out in nature and to be out and about. And so for this one, I wanted to put family and friends. And over here, just looking at my other list. So crafty Saturdays, right? Something to be thankful for. All to new lives or live streams. Always thankful. And I'm going to keep that there for right now. All right. So that brings us to just about time. So we were able to today work on a little bit of a different layout, which I thought was kind of neat. So I'm going to just track some food and just have that nice tracking water exercise. Oh, and my list of lists, other thing I wanted to list now that I remember was exercises. So I'll put that down here. These are all the exercises I can do. That list is going to fill up. Then we went through our list of lists and I kind of started to put those in. And so the list of lists is nice because this is a place where you can go back and remind yourself at this time, this is what I was focusing on. You could put in another list of lists, later on, and that list might change because you might not need these things, or you might have moved up. Maybe you have, you feel like watercoloring is on your list and you're like, hey, I feel like I've mastered that a little bit better. So I don't have to do that as much now. So, but I want to focus on these other things. And then just starting in that little gratitude page that we did a while back, I realized we hadn't really filled that in. So I wanted to color those in and work on those as well. So we kind of finished those up. So that is what I got. So I just wanted to say, thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate your time and thank you for the support. So we're at week 8, so we're, week 9. So we're heading into week 10, which is crazy that we've been doing this. So thank you for being here with the journey. We're almost at 3 months, which is kind of crazy. But 2.5 months, that's pretty good. So I hope that, if you started with us in January and this was your time to set your intentions or to set those New Year's resolutions, that you're keeping up with it. If not, this is a great time to get started. Just jump in and get it started. Buy a book and get some pens, and you're all set to go. All right, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will see you later. Bye, everybody.